first thing people always ask me about spearfishing every day is, aren't you scared of sharks? It's the only story they really know about the ocean. Sharp teeth, deep water, blood in the current. But most of the time, it's not the sharks that swim around the wrecks that scare me. It's the silent shadows that live inside them. Goliath grouper, 600 pounds of territorial muscle. The wrecks I visit are so full of life that they're bound to attract Goliaths. They sit just inside doorways, behind beams, but we still have to hunt the wrecks, knowing that they're waiting to explode into action and eat our fish. They know what your gun sounds like. 1 second of noise, one explosion of motion. Then they've swallowed your fish and dragged it down with them, and hopefully you aren't tangled in any of the line. So when people ask me if I'm scared of sharks, I think of a completely different predator, one that's far more aggressive and takes far more of my fish.
Welcome to another episode of One Up, One Down Adventures. This is our third day of diving, but we have Max and Alec with us. We're going out of Clearwater. We're going to the same spots that we went to yesterday. Hopefully, less sharks and more fish. This turtle thinks I can't see it, bro.
Welcome back to another episode, everyone. This is the last episode in the series of 3 good weather days that we had at the beginning of the summer. We're back underwater. We're at a spot that you all are probably familiar with if you've seen the channel a lot. It's basically a wreck offshore of Clearwater that has just tons of bait. I mean, look at this. This is absurd amounts of bait floating above this wreck, to the point where when you're diving it, the GoPro makes it look like you can see the wreck. You literally cannot see anything but bait the entire time. Until you get to the bottom and about 10 Goliaths show up right there. 1, 2, 3. How many more do we have? We gotta go 4, 5, 6 back there. 7. I didn't even see that one. 8. Okay, maybe not 10. Whatever. Anyway, covered in mangrove snapper and lots of permit. So, you know, we go here. I kind of focus a little bit more in on the snapper, but none of the guys had shot a permit. So we were trying to see if we couldn't put them on to their first permits. And the bottom just looked really good. It looked really clean. I just didn't, on this dive, have any mangoes that tempted me. Here the trick is to shoot them right next to the wreck. Let them go into the wreck and then recover them. Otherwise, the Goliaths are just going to smoke them. Yeah. Oh, and Max had shot a permit here. He stoned it, and he got his first permit. So, look at that. Got the big camera out so we can get some cool pictures and videos of him with his very first permit. He also does something absolutely insane with this thing at the end of the video, if you stick around. Put the big camera up, and Noah shoots a mango down at the bottom, and then I take another drop. Now, it's really important when you're on this wreck to beware of just the sheer number of Goliaths, right? This is one of those rare, not rare I'd say, because the west coast of Florida actually is just absolutely overcrowded with Goliaths. But normally when you have smaller wrecks like this, you don't have like a trillion Goliaths on them. There will be more on the bigger stuff. But for some reason, this thing is always covered in Goliaths. There's the sign that marks which wreck it is, if you guys are wondering what wreck it was. Another Goliath off in the distance, but I feel pretty good about how far away it is, especially because I'm going to, again, shoot in towards the wreck here. I'm waiting for a mangrove to swim out of its hole, and then I'm going to plug it as soon as it swims out. See right there? Boom. And it's still in its little area, so it's hard for the Goliaths to actually get down and in there to grab them. And then I can grab them, hold the shaft, and bring my fish up without dangling it. If you dangle a fish under you as you ascend on this spot, it will absolutely get smoked by Goliaths. There's not even a question that is exactly what's going to happen. We've got 4 guys, so we were doing a system where one person's down, 2 people are breathing up, and the other person is just finishing their dive and kind of just doing like a conveyor belt thing. The trim tabs on my boat haven't been working in a while, so we basically just use them to hang on to on the back while we're breathing up. Another dive here. On the way down, if you'll notice, I don't have the third band loaded. I often, when I'm hunting mangroves or if I'm hunting structure on a reef will not load that third band on the Marauder, which is no longer with us, by the way. That's a long story that you'll see in a later episode. But I won't load the third band because it'll just absolutely blunt my shaft. Get down here, again, just loaded with bait. Floating down, trying to look back over to that hole that the mangrove seemed to be flicking in and out of earlier, and just kind of scanning for anything that I would be tempted by. You kind of have to pull the trigger on bigger fish here, but this mangrove swims right up to me, and boom. On this wreck, you're gonna mostly be shooting bigger fish because the smaller fish that you see just don't feel like pulling the trigger as much because you're just like, oh, do I want to deal with the Goliath? So it has to be something that you like either are really craving, like a nice mangrove snapper taco, mangrove fish sandwich, or just something that's a little bit bigger and that you're willing to like deal with the Goliath or potentially get a bent shaft for. So that one I left in the hole there because I was very confident that the Goliath wouldn't be able to get to it down there. And this is what I'm saying is you just go in and you recover it. There is Alec on his way down as well. And that is actually this is like a best case scenario for me at least because it's like very easy recovery. It's just stuck under something slightly, but I know the grouper can't get to it. I'm not dangling anything. I can just kind of leave him under there and go and grab him on the next dive. But he actually swam back a little bit. I thought this was going to be way more challenging than it ended up being. I literally just had to just unhook some stuff, pull him back a little bit, and it was chill. But that could have been way worse, I think. When you're doing recovery dives, just really the key is to be really slow and methodical. There's Alec. He's going to do a little hunting after I start to ascend. Again, bait on this spot is absolutely ridiculous. Look at that. Just insane amounts of bait hanging out on this spot here. Water was really clear on this day, too. I miss days in the Gulf that were this clear. This time of year, it really is not. There's Noah. I don't know what he asked me here, but yeah. I tried to like play with the audio to see if I could hear what it is he even said, but I could not hear. Anyway, got my snapper, throwing him in the boat so that I can make some snapper tacos later. And then I see some permit. I don't really want a permit, but I know they do, so I was pointing and trying to get one of them to come over. But Noah and Alec were really far, and Max was right next to me, so Max is lining up on this thing and pulls the trigger right here. And his shot is a little bit low, like kind of in the gut, but it's not as bad as I thought it was. Like when he gets up to the surface, I'm going to tell him it was a bad shot. It wasn't actually that bad.
Your shot's bad. Let it run. I'll get a second one.
Alright, anyway, so we're fighting this thing. We let him run, and probably a good thing, because it was actually way bigger of a permit than I thought it was as well. It was further away and bigger. So the shaft most likely would have torn out if we had tried to horse it. This is us fighting it for a while. Once it tired out, we started to try to bring it vertical. And as soon as we started trying to bring it vertical, the Goliath caught up to it. Because when you let it run, it can swim away from the Goliath and be on its own, and it's fine. But once you start putting that pressure on it, all of a sudden it goes sideways, and these Goliaths just starts wrecking it. So there's like 5 or 6 Goliaths going after this thing. And they would grab it, hold it in their mouths, and basically drag me down with the fish. And I would just keep kicking up until they let go. And I was basically like the float fighting these Goliaths. This time it snatches it right next to the surface. Yeah, this was heartbreaking. We almost had this fish. We were very close. But alas, and there's a bull shark hanging out there too.
Max, you're wrapped.
Max got a little bit wrapped, but we dealt with that. And now we're just trying to do proper line management, make sure nobody gets wrapped up, because it's a huge safety hazard, especially when you have these Goliaths. If someone gets wrapped and the Goliaths pull the fish down, you'll never see it again. And then the fish just pops off right here after this back and forth fight.
I think it might have bent her a little.
Just a little bit.
That was a big permit.
Go.
You guys spit up some Coke. You guys spit up some Coke for us.
It came out of his mouth. Dude, you drank like a quarter of it. Let's get it, baby! Alright, it got a little windier than I thought. It's still not like terrible, but we're pretty far offshore. So we're gonna head back in that general direction. Because it's not like terrible, but it's still like kind of windy. So we're gonna head back. See you guys when we get there.
Anyways, that's all I got for today. I will see you guys in the next one. The ride in was very rough, but we made it back. Peace.
Look at how windy it is. We're in the inlet. We're inside the inlet and it's like this. Ridiculous. Give us the rundown on what happened to Max's shaft.
So, my boy Max McKay went down with his Hatch Amaro with his American shaft. Put it right, beautiful shot, into this permit. Massive permit, bigger than I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty bad.
Nuked by the Goliath Troopers. Nuked!